first of all, congratulations again. It's a tremendous, achievement. Your team deserves a ton of credit. I know you give them that credit, and you yourself, but it just doesn't happen very often. And so we get all excited when we get a gold recipient to talk to and have to promote, because it just is the highest level of performance that a builder that we can showcase a builder. I mean, just the best builder in the country.
It has to be a total team effort. This isn't something one individual can do. And the best way I can sum it up is where it literally, when you find out you won, you're speechless. And I remember when Todd Booz called me, and I saw that he called, and I know we were doing a couple emails and whatnot, back and forth. So I'm like, I better grab this. So I step out of a meeting into the other conference room, and Todd goes, and it's even difficult to talk about now. Like it was that much effort put into it. And he's like, hey, I just want to congratulate you guys won gold. And he starts going, he's like, hey, he goes, hello, are you there? I literally couldn't respond. It was it's that significant of an award to our company and the accomplishment that we did. It literally left me speechless. And finally I said, Todd, I can't talk right now. I don't have the words for this. And he's like, well, did you not expect to win? And I'm like, well, you only enter expecting to win, but I mean, you never want to do the assumption and assume you won. So you're right. It's a total team effort. And I'm super proud of everyone that was involved.
Once you had bronze and you looked at the feedback, was there something was there some sort of impetus or something that compelled you and others in the company to say, let's apply this, and then let's apply again and see where we are? Walk me through kind of that thought process of from 2021 to now.
It really started with a goal that we set internally. So we operate off EOS, Entrepreneur Operating System, and Traction. And so part of that is when we do our quarterly retreats and annual retreat, when we looked at big audacious goals, is one of them, it was probably 2016, 2017, we said, we want to win NHQ gold in 5 years. And so we set out on that process and the journey of like, what is it? What's the application process and everything? So it was something that we did not want to ever stop trying or process improvement until we won gold. And then even then, it's still, you find out there's even more you can do. So that journey going into 2020, you go into it a little bit blind, which I would never discourage any builder to get frustrated with the process or going into it going, this is too big to tackle, because it's worth it. And so we went into that process in 2019, 2020, doing the application. And it was daunting because you're doing it for the first time, and there's a lot of questions, and you're diving deep into your company. And all I can say is exactly what I said before, it's worth it. So we got through the application process. It was our first time applying. And I don't know what the statistics are, but we were awarded a site visit, which I think is somewhat maybe rare. And so we were super excited about the site visit. And then we do the site visit. We came out of it going, wow, there is so many things we can improve on. And the feedback from the judges is so valuable. They're past gold winners. They operated their businesses on a gold level. And it was one of those things where like, we took everything they said and tried to apply it to the company, but then made sure it was important to Camelot. We didn't want to do something that was going to change our culture. So we got the feedback report, and what that did was really, there was a lot of excitement with bronze. We wouldn't settle and say, all right, we're done, it's bronze. But the feedback report that we were provided from the judges really created a roadmap that said, wow, we have a roadmap to gold, and we have a roadmap to be a better company. We took that feedback report and met with the department heads every other Thursday, a 2-hour meeting, and just went section by section and then created process improvements per department. And then we continued to meet for an entire 18 months on process improvement, the feedback from the judges, and then monitoring. So one, it's like, what do we want to do? So you're coming up with the improvement plan, and then it's how do you develop it, how do you implement, and how do you monitor? So after 18 months, I intentionally stopped doing the meetings. I felt we were to the point where we monitored, we designed process improvement, we implemented them, but I really wanted everyone to let it mature and just take time off. And I really, because it seemed like we were talking NHQ too much. Like, we're doing this for NHQA. And I didn't want it to be as much about NHQA as it was to make the company better. So I intentionally just almost went 12 months without even mentioning a word. And we would still talk about process improvement in the weekly L10s and whatnot. And so then when we went to go reapply, it was like unbelievable. Like, you pick up the application again, and it was like you didn't realize how many things that you did to improve the company. And it was, so that process of applying, getting the feedback, evaluating the feedback, the approach we took to implement it, evaluate and monitor is really priceless. And our company is better today than it was when we applied the first time in 2020, earning bronze in 2021, and then reapplying in 2023 and earning gold in 2024. It's an awesome way to evaluate individuals, departments, and the company as a whole.
It seems to me that if I'm a builder and I'm looking at this, I've got to have that kind of a culture of wanting to improve and having buy-in about improvement and having the right people in place and the right everything. I mean, it just seems like you said, this became a company thing, not an NHQA thing, and that's what you wanted. Right. But you already had an established, it seems, culture of we want to improve regardless. I mean, we chose NHQA as one catalyst to help us improve, but and talk to me a little bit about how you foster and nurture and kind of maintain that culture, because that seems essential to anybody who's going to have success in this program.
Yeah, so it really goes to our core values. And our core values is can-do attitude, problem solver, and do the right thing. And we instill that in the interview process. And when we're interviewing an individual to work for Camelot, they have to check the box on all three of those categories of our core values. So it starts with the core values, then it goes into our mission statement. And if someone doesn't meet that, we don't hire them, and they have to fit those metrics. And then once they're on the team, I really go back to our operating system with the L10s and being a transparent company. The one thing that helps us is being so transparent from all the way up at leadership, all the way down to the frontline staff, is the more transparent you are with all of your numbers and the direction and what you want to do, you get everyone paddling the boat in sequence. And when you have that passion and the buy-in and the commitment 100% across the board, you're unstoppable. You can tackle anything, no matter an easy task or a hard task. It makes all of them a lot easier to accomplish.
Coming out of the bronze award from 2021 and going forward, was there a particular area, and I haven't looked back at your feedback report and your scores, but was there a particular area that you felt like, wow, one, I didn't know we kind of underperformed that to that point in that category, or I really want to make sure we improve that, and that was kind of a focus? Or was it just an overall, like, hey, look, there's 8 categories, we can improve in all of them, let's attack all of them?
There was 3 areas that when I looked at the report that were surprising, and this is when you can't be offended, you got to put the pride aside, because these are outside consultants or judges that run gold standard companies. And so the number one area was construction, and we build one of the best quality homes that there is, but it was more our construction process. It wasn't necessarily the quality of the product we turn out. The judges were all saying there's an easier way or a better way or a more efficient way to do what you do. So really pulling apart that construction process and rebuilding it from the time that our site manager receives the start, and the walk process is in the integration of the contractors and checklist, and what we do is we build an even better house today than we did previously, but more efficiently. And so that was number one. Number 2 was the trade relations. We always thought we had unbelievable relationships with our trades. And part of this process, if other builders don't know, is it's just not fill out an application, get a site visit, do a little quick walkthrough. They evaluate your own staff or interview your staff. They interview your trades. They interview your management team, your leadership team. So some of the feedback, the candid feedback that our trades were able to provide to the judges that then was relayed to us, was stuff that you probably wouldn't get in any other setting. If we would have just hosted a trade roundtable, they probably wouldn't have been as candid. But when they're talking to an outside person, so that was as painful as it can be that your trade say, hey, you can be better as a company. You have to listen, you have to adjust, because without our trades, let's be honest, we're really nothing. We're not building houses ourselves. The third was really our business metrics. And so that was in its section 8, I think it's called financials. And so we're a financially sound company, but some of the metrics that we measure ourselves to were more internal related. And even though we're a privately owned company, one of the suggestions from the judges, well, how do you compare one to your own market, your own industry, but how do you compare to some of the publics? So we really dove deep into how the publics look at their metrics and what's a good metric for them, and then started to apply those to Camelot. And I think it's brought us a long way to understand our company financially a lot better, and also just process improvement on how we evaluate our numbers, how we evaluate land deals. I mean, it really gave us an opportunity to do a 360-degree look at how we operate from our business metrics.
Talk to me about the difference the second time around, what you learned from that, or what came of that now you're working on to improve even more.
So I think the biggest thing that came out of doing it the second time, because we were growing as a company, we were diversifying as a company, is the number one thing that it did once we earned gold, and even during the application process and the site visit, it validated a lot of the things we were doing. Let's be honest, when you're implementing some changes isn't easy, and some people question, why are we doing this? Is the juice worth the squeeze? And so as we dove into the application and started to realize all the changes we made, and when you start having department meetings about the things that we changed, how is it going, it really reinforced, and I think even boosted morale even bigger to go, holy cow, I didn't realize all the things we did in the last 2 or 3 years and how much difference it's made in my day-to-day responsibilities and activity, and some of the things that have made my job easier. And that's the big thing, is any time you do change, it's a massive investment up front, but it has to pay dividends on the back end. And that application, site visit, and then earning gold really validated everything we did, and then allowed the team to go, wow, it did make my job easier, and it did what the intention was. So that was the number one thing. I would say one of the things that came out of the site visit, and this one sticks with me, is remedial as it is we were talking about supply chain, because I think everyone in the industry has dealt with supply chain, labor issues the last couple of years. And he looked at me and he goes, it's okay to admit that your industry or your region or your market has labor and supply chain issues, but you need to figure out how Camelot doesn't have supply chain issues. And so that's what our new approach has been, even earning gold, is looking at it going, how do we take industry issues, extract it, where the trades really are like, hey, the trades have people, they might not have enough people. How do you make it where you're the builder of choice? When they get a job order ticket in the morning, they're like, we're going to Camelot. And when they get there, they have everything they need, they build it, they're in, they're out, and it's efficient for them. And so that's probably the biggest takeaway, as remedial as that sounds, is we have now created a culture at Camelot where no one says we have a supply chain issue, no one says we have a labor issue. It's our industry still might, but we don't hear, because we're navigating through that and created a culture that we just don't accept it anymore. We want to be the builder of choice.
Last thing, Kevin, and I'll let you go. What would you tell a builder who's going into this or considering this for the first time? How would you advise them? How would you say they should approach it, or why they should approach it?
I would say do it. It will open your eyes to parts of your business that you've never thought of or evaluated. Just the questions alone. The questions that come up in the application are going to make you dive deeper into parts of your business that you never thought of before. And I would say when you do it, because it's not an if, I would say when you do it, you have to create a plan for the application, create a team. What does that look like? If it's one person doing it, it's not going to be effective for the entire company. So make it a team effort, create a plan for the application. And the biggest thing is have fun with it. Don't think that this is a project and we can never get this done and this is too much work. you can make this process fun. And the more you engage the entire team, the more fun it is. And I really do think it's a morale booster. I would say, to me, it's a no-brainer for any company to apply. I don't care what size your company is, even if it's a larger public company and you want to do a division, or it's a mid-sized builder and you want to do a division or a region, or if it's a small private builder. The lessons you will learn from this process are priceless, and the morale boost that you get from the team, if it's done right and it's a total team effort, it's so rewarding. It's worth it. It's a long journey. It's difficult. If it was easy, everybody would win. But no matter if you just do the application and you don't get a site visit, if you do the application and get a site visit, and then it's just our honorable mention, or a bronze, a silver, or gold, no matter where you land in the process, it is 100% worth it.